Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking the ultimate 2026 blueprint for the electric vehicle charging network. We are moving far, far past the early adopter phase now. This industry is scaling at just a massive rate, and navigating it, well, it requires a totally new playbook. So let's just dive right in with the multi-billion-dollar question that every developer and fleet operator is asking right now. Is EV charging actually profitable in 2026? The short answer is yes, absolutely. But the days of just dropping a charger in an empty lot for passive income, yeah, those days are completely over. It requires immense strategic planning now. To make sense of all this, we're going to break things down into 5 key areas: 2026 EV tech trends, the charging business model, revenue and smart software, reliability and uptime mandates, and finally, emergency preparedness. All right, let's kick things off with Phase 1, 2026 EV tech trends. Have you heard about bidirectional vehicle-to-grid, or V2G? It completely flips the script on energy consumption. Instead of just draining power, V2G actually turns commercial fleets into revenue-generating assets. Imagine a massive fleet of delivery trucks parked during peak afternoon demand. With intelligent software, those exact same trucks can actually sell stored energy back to the grid. They literally transform from a simple transportation expense right into a virtual power plant. It's a huge shift in how we think about energy storage. Now, for businesses that maybe lack the in-house electrical expertise to pull that off, we're seeing an absolute explosion of CaaS, or charging as a service. Instead of making this massive, super risky upfront investment to buy and install all that hardware yourself, a third party installs and owns it. The property owner just pays a predictable, recurring operational fee. It completely removes the friction of adopting EV infrastructure. And the secret sauce tying all this hardware together? Artificial intelligence. We're seeing 350 kilowatt ultra-fast stations that can juice up an EV battery to 80% in, 15 to 20 minutes? That is incredibly fast. But pulling that much power incurs massive utility demand charges. So AI steps in to manage that peak demand in real time, preventing grid strain and making these blazing fast charging speeds financially viable for the operator. Okay, moving right along to Phase 2, the charging business model. Here's the deal. A truly successful charging business meticulously matches its hardware to how long a customer actually sticks around. Think about it. Putting an incredibly expensive DC fast charger at an office park where cars just sit all day, that's a massive waste of capital. A workplace or hotel needs cost-effective, slow AC charging for long-stay parking. Conversely, a highway rest stop absolutely demands rapid DC fast chargers to maximize vehicle turnover. It's all about matching the tech to the human behavior at that specific location. And honestly, even within DC fast charging, you have to carefully map your power levels to your site's capacity. A 60 kilowatt charger is perfect for an hour of retail shopping. But a highway hub? You're looking at 240 kilowatts and above, which requires huge grid demand and some seriously expensive utility upgrades. Which brings us nicely to Phase 3, revenue and smart software. So how do you actually make money? Well, direct charging fees, what the driver pays per kilowatt hour, are actually just a fraction of the puzzle. Retail uplift and convenience store traffic are massive hidden revenue drivers. If you have a driver captive for 30 minutes, they're probably going inside to buy a coffee or some merchandise. Add in commercial fleet contracts and monthly memberships, and suddenly you have a highly diversified, really robust revenue model. But listen, to capture any of that revenue efficiently, you absolutely need OCPP software. OCPP is the open communication standard that connects the physical charger straight to the cloud. Without it, you are basically flying blind. This software handles everything: the user authentication, the driver billing, remote fault monitoring, and crucially, dynamic load balancing. That's what ensures you don't overload your local grid when 5 cars all decide to plug in at the exact same time. Now let's talk real-world ROI. The reality is your long-term success is rarely determined by those initial hardware costs. It is absolutely decided by how well you control the middle operating costs. Electricity tariffs, software platform fees, and physical maintenance dictate your operating margin. You could have the best revenue stream in the world, but if your maintenance costs skyrocket because of broken cables and offline software, your payback period simply vanishes. All right, shifting gears to Phase 4, reliability and uptime mandates. 97%. Remember that number because it is the new magic number for the industry. After seeing some pretty alarming rates of non-functional chargers in major hubs, which, as you can imagine, led to severe driver frustration, the National Electric Vehicle Infrastructure Program is now mandating a strict 97% annual uptime for funded chargers. We are officially moving from a best effort Wild West into a highly regulated public utility standard. And let me tell you, they are defining uptime super strictly now. This means you can't just have a machine plugged into the wall with a little green light glowing. The mobile app, the credit card reader, the physical cable, and the internal power modules, the whole shebang has to work seamlessly together to successfully dispense electricity at the advertised power level. If a 150 kilowatt charger only gives you 30 kilowatts because of some weird software glitch, it is officially considered offline. No exceptions. Finally, let's wrap up this breakdown with Phase 5, Emergency Preparedness and Resilience. Consider the sheer density of public charging ports across a place like California. The infrastructure is heavily concentrated in specific population centers. But ask yourself this, what happens to these thousands of charging ports during a massive wildfire, an earthquake, or a severe planned power outage? A traditional gas station might have backup generators to keep pumping fuel, but keeping massive DC fast chargers running off-grid, that is a monumental engineering challenge. Well, California's Assembly Bill 2543 is trying to tackle exactly that by shifting the burden directly to site operators. Basically, if your station sits on a vital evacuation route, you're now required to submit an actual emergency management plan. You have to detail exactly how you're going to use off-grid backup power to keep citizens moving during a disaster. And it's really incredible to see how the market is already responding to this. Mobile charging fleets are becoming a very real thing. We actually saw mobile DC fast chargers mounted on trailers successfully deployed along Florida evacuation routes to rescue stranded EV drivers during Hurricane Milton. It absolutely proves that decentralized mobile backup power is going to be a crucial part of our national infrastructure going forward. Okay, to wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one final massive question to chew on. As our world rapidly electrifies and as extreme weather events put more and more strain on our aging power grids, how do we balance private business profits with essential public safety? Building the hardware is really just the beginning. Building a resilient, intelligent, and completely dependable ecosystem, now that is the true challenge of 2026. Thanks so much for joining me and keep learning.